Tales from my D&D campaign.
Previously,
we would like you to venture briefly into the Shadowfell to break one of Swain's spirit shackles.
if you guys know so much, what happened to Zahir?
We do believe that the shepherd was taken to the Shadowfell somehow, but our prognostication in the Deadlands is very incomplete, disrupted by the gaps created by the many spirit shackles. Breaking this shackle will create a brief disruption, an opportunity for us to potentially divine more information.
Could that thing be the spirit shackle? It's pretty unassuming, but it certainly stands out.
Wait, I think I hear something.
Well, I'm halfway into channeling this. It's going to be another 5 rounds.
They are coming.
I only hear one. And they said 3 riders.
Come on, I'm almost there. This huge leathery humanoid with horns, a bolted-on helm, and thighs 2 feet in diameter crashes through the entrance to the room just to squeeze in its overly broad frame, flanked by what appeared to be a dwarven ghost and a tall, powerfully built woman with rock skin.
And a ridiculously tiny waist? What the hell kind of proportions are those?
Hourglass? Her measurements may be more magical than her ability to pass through walls.
Whoever you are, you make big mistake coming here.
She triggers a spell-like ability, and suddenly the stone floor of the room erupts into a carpet of magical spikes, which deal 1d8 damage for every 5 feet anyone moves along the ground. After casting the spike stones, she glides back into a wall, where they can't even counterattack her.
Moving hurts now? That's not good.
Well, I'm not going anywhere for at least another round. Plus, I fly.
Black, hold your action till after I go.
Okay.
I searing charge the big guy. It's a flying charge, so I can bypass the spikes.
Face Crusher can take a hit, and his damage reduction blocks 10 points from the attack. But, despite his red hide, he doesn't resist the fire at all.
How does that work for you?
Perfect.
Black takes a few d8s of spike damage moving forward, but now that he has an ally adjacent to the enemy, he's able to teleport into flanking position behind the big guy using Knight's move, avoiding a lot of spike damage, and he gets in a solid hit, his mithril mace once again counting as a silver weapon to penetrate DR. Angel also takes a couple dice of damage, but only till she gets close enough to leap onto the wall, after which her slippers of spider climbing keep her safely off the ground as she runs toward the action. You feel a voice in your head, whispering about how your allies are positioning themselves to turn on you, and how the Bronzehammers have been gaining political strength in back rooms, behind the scenes, waiting for a moment of weakness. That's a voice in whose head? Anyone who fails a DC 21 will save. Actually, the whole party makes that save, able to recognize the voices as foreign and push them out for now. The Ghost Dwarf, the apparent source of the disturbing whispers, hit Black for about 10 damage because its incorporeal attack ignores armor. In return, it took about half that much damage from one of Black's many backlash damage effects from various spells and equipment. Then Face Crusher, the powerfully built brute, acted. Flanked by enemies who already hurt it quite a bit, the masked monster surprised them by leaping up as a swift action to the top of the room, giving it just enough distance for a vertical charge, and the huge creature crashed back down into Little One, horns first, dealing 40 damage and forcing multiple saving throws. Make a DC 18 fear save or become shaken.
Made it.
Then you have to make a DC 25 fortitude save against being physically stunned by the blow. Whoa.
Nope, saved against that one too.
Alright. Angel. A rock torso erupts out of the wall, almost right under you, and it's coming out fist first.
I'll take an attack of opportunity.
I'm afraid you can't. While she does sort of have to pass through your spiked chain's reach, she did so while within the stone wall, where you can't actually reach. By the time she comes out, you guys are within ordinary melee range, so you don't have that advantage. Zora, the stone warrior, emerges out of the wall right next to Angel, attacking with a martial maneuver both Angel and Little One recognize. The large red gem strapped to her fist flashes brightly as she mountain hammers you for 47 damage.
47?
Wow. Some of that was one-shot damage from her weapon crystal, but yeah, she hits pretty hard.
Well, he tried to stun me, so let's see how this big guy likes losing his action. I'll disabling strike him.
This guy has a much better will save than that corpse golem upstairs. But he failed anyway. Okay, no action for him. But it's Black's turn, and I should note Face Crusher...
That's really his name?
Of course. Face Crusher's repositioning before he charged put him 10 feet away from you, so you won't be able to full attack him this turn, unless you cast another Knight's move.
Nah, I have a perfectly good ghost here who attacked me, and my Ghost Touch Mace of Sirius hasn't touched a ghost in a long time.
That will ignore his incorporeal trait, but he's not as easy to hit as you might expect, partially because of the very corporeal shield he's wielding, which means his shield is also enchanted with Ghost Touch. It has to be for him to carry it, but conversely, that means that shield's bonus would also apply against the attacks of incorporeal creatures like him. The Ghost Dwarf has a much better AC than most incorporeal monsters, so Black's attacks don't all hit, but being able to ignore the 50% miss chance still makes him very effective at fighting it. Angel slashes at the stone woman, but Zora's getting some cover from being half in the wall, and she has DR 7 slash, meaning she takes a flat 7 less damage from all physical sources. Without being in position for sneak attack, the damage on Angel's small-sized spike chain is so low that only the fire damage from her weapon actually worked. So instead of full attacking, Angel breaks off and tumbles across the ceiling to find herself a better position. The ghost hits Black for a little more damage, and the heroes have to resist his maddening whispers again, which they do. Except Little One. Boo.
Look at your artificer friend, just standing around while you fight for your life. Maybe he's working for Swain.
You are overcome by a form of temporary paranoia. It's basically a one-round confusion effect, but with a slightly different random table for how you'll act next round. Well, that should be fun. Graven, you finally finish concentration on the Centra Stone. You've been guiding the magic the Rajas charged it with to break down and unwind the strands of power which formed the Spirit Shackle. Everything shudders a little, and a little more of the black stuff bubbles out of the pillar, covering the last of the brick surface. And that's about it. But at least you can act on your initiative next round. With Angel having escaped for now, Zora glides back into the wall and spends her turn moving, which is a little disturbing because the players have no idea where she might pop up next. She could come up from the ground to hit Draven, or from the wall near Black and Little One, or she might even pop out of the ceiling and try to knock Angel down onto the spikes below. On his turn, Little One rolls for the maddening whispers, and does nothing, standing there like an idiot in front of Face Crusher, who is still standing unsteadily from the disabling chi block of last round. Black beats on the ghost, who, unaccustomed to being struck bodily like this, utters a stream of dwarven profanity.
Vitel Inferno, you lanky tin-plated common-born baboso!
I have an excellent response to that. Mace to the face!
Draven isn't close enough to buff any of his allies' weapons, so he unloads a couple shots from his temporarily holy crossbow, dealing decent damage to the muscle-bound charger. Angel moves a little further across the ceiling, worried the stone woman may in fact be coming for her, but she whips out her crossbow and puts a bolt of force right through the ghost dwarf's heart. Of course, he doesn't have any proper anatomy for that to crit, but like Black's weapon, force damage ignores the miss chance, which otherwise makes incorporeal monsters so hard to hurt. But Face Crusher recovers, and his head whips around, suddenly aware of Draven's existence. Doh. Using his quickened movement ability again, in a blur of speed he leaps over to the wall close to the dapper caster, without touching the floor spikes, and springs from there into another brutal charge. Take 39 damage, a DC 18 fear save, and a DC 25 fort save. Ow! But I passed both saves. What, I can't stun anyone at DC 25? I put a lot of money and effort into augmenting my saving throws, especially Fortitude. On the Ghost's turn, it hits Black for another 2d6 plus 2 damage, but it's looking pretty ragged by this point. Nevertheless, Little One fails another save against the maddening whispers. Come on, Little One. I actually have a decent will save. I gained some from my Dragonfire Adept level. Also, it's DC 21. Statistically, more of you should be failing. Zora 5-foot steps out of the wall next to Black to back up the Ghost Dwarf. She full attacks, hitting him for 14, then again for 16, but since she hit both times, she gets to trigger her rend attack, piling on an extra 29 damage.
Was that a crit?
No, just a rend, so you can't use your Ring of Vengeance.
Alright, but I can use my Retributive Amulet to hit her back for half, so take 14 plus 4, 5, and 4 more from my Hamatulabarb spell.
We really need a less evil-sounding name for your version of that spell. Like Martyr's Thorns, or Scorn of Sirius, or something. Anyway, Little One's up. Roll on the madness table. 12? Act normally? What fun is that?
It's fun for me.
I'll get that guy off Draven for Black, so he can keep ghost busting.
Deal.
I haven't had a chance to recover Searing Charge yet, so I can't fly across. How much damage will I take moving there? 6 squares, so 6d8. Little One standing long jumps down from the ramp area, skipping 10 feet worth of spiked ground, so he only takes 15 damage from movement as he Elder Mountain hammers Face Crusher nearly to death.
From her upside-down perch, Angel finishes it off with her crossbow, such that Draven is free to act without triggering attacks of opportunity. Meanwhile, Black smacks the ghost so hard it loses cohesion, its curses and whispers fading into oblivion as its shield clatters to the ground. Surprisingly, the insubstantial axe it had been swinging also materialized, landing with a clank of metal on stone. Draven fired a couple of shots into Zora, who, seeing her allies destroyed, made for the safety of the walls.
What? Impossible.
You would leave now before finishing what you started? I think not.
She spins around, looking in fright at the pillar in the middle of the room. Cornered, she strikes at Black again, but he blocks it, and together they beat her down till Draven finishes her with his crossbow. But he too looks worriedly at the pillar, which is now covered in tar. The black goo begins to bubble. Just one bubble, then a couple more, and from each bubble's bursting comes a sound recognizable as speech.
I can feel my body. It has been so long, for the short time before I am shackled anew. Tell me, who has freed me? Is it Alyssa you serve, or Cornello?
We don't work for any of them.
The crystal still clutched in Draven's hand glows, and Lady Hazemura's translucent image appears beside him.
Your actions have created a shudder in Swain's anti-divination network, as predicted. The other Rajas and I are divining as much information as we can, though it will take some time to analyze the results. I trust the Guardians bequeathed onto you some worthwhile material.
It looks like it. I haven't had a chance to... And am I to believe you are not allied with any of the kings? That would be quite a twist.
I told you, no. Screw those guys.
We don't serve evil. Wait, is this thing evil? I don't know.
Greetings, Benzigogoth. I hope you are enjoying a breath of stale air, however brief it may be. Do you know what Swain has planned for the Vasithant horror to the south?
Rakshasa small talk, is it? And who do you claim to be?
I am Lady Hazemura of the Rajas. As you must have guessed, I do have other motives for asking them to free you, but that makes my question no less relevant.
I suppose freeing me has earned you an answer at the least, regardless of who you really are. Swain was using the spawn of darkness against the forces of a troublesome drow governor. However, he withdrew it a short time ago, moving it abruptly to where it now waits, near Alyssa's borders.
When shackled, you can feel his intention within the narrow focus of your own power, correct?
Correct, lady. But his intention in this case was merely to have it wait. I don't think moving it there was his own will at all. I think other allies instructed him to. Allies to whom he listens.
Interesting. As you know, Benzigogoth, they will come for you very soon. Whether Swain or one of the others, they will seek to rebind you. You would fight this, correct?
I will fight, for a moment, and then be bound again by their filthy runes. What great promises will you make, Rakshasa?
There are other spirits we could persuade to assist you. Ones nearby who would not answer your call, and ones far away who move swiftly and can arrive in time.
And what can I give you? I am still weak from my prison, and will need my strength to fight.
The cost would be a favor. In the future, at such time we require, and when you are able.
And with these allies, you promise, can I stop a vampire king from crushing me in his palm?
No.
I see. You may wait a very long time indeed for a favor I can only grant when truly freed, when free of the cycle, for I can pay no debts while I am bound.
A time will come. We still plan to be here, and if we are not, then so too will your debt fade.
The black goo roils and bubbles madly like boiling water as it laughs.
I believe that you are truly a Raj, then. I have dealt with the Shugo before, and would not again. But no daimyo would defer gratification so. Their deals are short, like a dagger in the back, and while their words are flowery and silken, their auras are blacker than my skin. Send your swift spirits! Bring me the aid of those buggering neighbors who seem deaf to my call. Let them stand with me and cut and bleed the feet of our oppressors before I am stamped down once more. And to you, who do all the work while the bankers collect the interest. I thank you for allowing me to breathe free, however briefly. When you reach the surface, go to the shore of my pool, and I will disgorge something for your troubles. I must begin my preparations, for I have but blinked my eyes, and already the storm is nearly upon me.
There's a vampire king on his way now? Well, you can't completely rule that out, but an old spirit like this has a very different perception of time.
Wait, could we help this thing out? She said he won't win with these other spirits helping, but could he win if we help?
At this point, no. These spirits can be persuaded to intervene because they are immortal. For those who are not good candidates for shackling, even when they are defeated, the long-term consequences to them should be limited.
Man, because this whole spirit binding thing is really just another kind of slavery, and I hate to just stand by. We freed the guy for now, and he seems happy with that. But I'm just thinking, we could get some serious goodwill, maybe find other allies if we help out. I just hate the idea of leaving him to be enslaved again.
Thing is, you really don't know his timescale. The attack could happen in 5 hours, 5 days, or 5 months for all you know.
Fine. I know it's probably not a good idea, and nobody's waiting weeks or months. It still bugs me, though.
They gather up the loot quickly, just in case. Including Face Crusher's helm of plus 2d6 damage when charging, Zora's Ring of Sloth. It increases any pre-existing damage reduction by 2, and grants a plus 5 bonus against a touch attack once per battle. Plus the dwarf's plus 1 Ghost Touch shield, which also granted plus 2 damage to any of the user's spells. The very solid axe he had dropped was not magical, but Angel recognized it as an ancient weapon, which may have historical significance to the Dons. They carted all this stuff up to the surface where they found some horses.
Oh, right. They said 3 riders.
What the hell is that?
It's awesome is what it is.
The smallish grey steed and the black warhorse must have been specially bred to have been any use amongst the horrors of the Shadowfell, particularly if one of them was ridden by a freaking ghost. But even that incredible attribute seemed positively mundane next to the huge 6-legged horse. Face Crusher's hexapedal mount had the size and mass of an elephant, but longer, wider, and flattened into a squat, well-supported form which allowed it to carry a massive rider without bumping against the 17-foot altitude ceiling of the plane.
Can we fit him through our portal?
Well, based on my caster level, without Zahir and Mahar...
We need to name him!
Next time on Tales from My D&D Campaign.
The moment is fast approaching.
Surely I could contribute far more meaningfully in some other capacity. We are well aware of that, brother, but maximizing this opportunity calls for as many burst divinations as we can deploy. Nevertheless, compared to you and Lady Hazemura, my divination is nearly as useless as your battle magic. Then by all means, next time I might find myself in combat, you are welcome to handle it in my place. I certainly hope so.
The shackle has fallen.
Acknowledged.
Your actions have created a shudder in Swain's anti-divination network, as predicted. The other Rajas and I are divining as much information as we can, though it will take some time to analyze the results.
How's it going? Our protections have been completely overwhelmed. I can't stop them. It has to be those damned Rajas. Just do the best you can. I'll get you another one of, those. If you care so much about my information security, all you have to do is share some of your rituals.